Hey guys, I thought I'd jump on here and do 2022 a little different. I realized a lot of my videos are with others, and I realized that I started this product with the idea of educating. And with so much going on in COVID-19 and protocols, I thought it might be good to, for once, for you to just hear from me. And now this is going to focus only on California. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is, the California just finally lifted the mask mandate for indoors. And so does that mean that we don't have to wear masks anymore? And I give my favorite answer that no client likes to hear. It depends. The state officials, even though they've said that there's no masks needed, it's only for vaccinated persons. It's not for unvaccinated people. They also played it off because they're saying that other counties can keep their own requirements. So I believe as of today, LA County has lifted the indoor mandate for vaccinated people, but other counties have already have had a no mask requirements, such as Orange County and San Bernardino and Riverside, Ventura County. They've lifted those mandates a while ago. Now, this doesn't affect masking requirements for private businesses. So employers that are in no masking counties can still require masks. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, this is beyond the depth of the video, so I can't go into too much detail as to what happens if a client says no. There are things you can do, but for now, I'm going to keep it at this is the counties doing it differently, how they're doing it. So, having said that, there are certain industries, no matter what county they're in, they have to have masks on. That's on public transit, that's indoors in K through 12 schools, childcare centers, emergency shelters, cooling and heating centers, healthcare facilities, nurses, doctors, hospitals, state and local correctional facilities, detention centers, courthouses, homeless shelters, nursing centers, almost to the point where almost a lot of the people that are, I would say, that could be affected by COVID-19. So the other question that I've gotten from people is, what happens for employees that can they ask for a mask if they don't have one, or if I'm a client? I went into Walmart just yesterday, and they're giving out masks to anyone that wants them. Well, the reason being that if you're going to require masking, you must still provide the PPE. That's true for employers and that's true for businesses. However, and so an unvaccinated employees can still ask for N95s. Any employee can ask for any kind of face covering. So with their mandate being lifted, this does not mean that employers can get rid of the PPE or get rid of what they need to do, the social distancing. Keep all those things in mind because this is still an evolving area. So I don't recommend people rushing through it. And remember, unvaccinated employees, if they're going to choose to not vaccinate, must still use face coverings. And they must be, employers must enforce this. Exception being, they're working remotely, they're working from Starbucks, or they're the only employee there, they're not interacting with anyone. Those are the exceptions. So keep that in mind. And so now I want to delve in. So what if can an employee refuse the vaccine? Um, it's again, the answer is it depends. They can, and I recommend for my clients to go through the interactive process, which is to try to figure out there's a reasonable accommodation. And the reason being is because more often than not, we have to assume it could be a religious reason or it could be based on a medical issue. Now, if it's a personal belief, that is not covered, but you won't know that till you engage with the client. Now, that does not mean you have to give the accommodation. You have to sit there and look at it, and it's a balancing act. If it's a medical issue, the standard's a lot higher. It could be an undue burden. But if it's a religious belief and they want to work remotely and you only have two employees and they have to interact with clients, you're not required to sit there and do it. The point is, what you are required to do is engage in the interactive process. So that's important. And you have to document it. Document. So remember that. Masks, vaccines, somebody saying no, if it's an employee, do the interactive process. If nothing else to get from this video, just remember that. Now, can I require employees to get tested or vaccinated? Yes, you can, but you have to pay for the time it takes for the testing or the vaccination, including travel and time. So if they have to go to a far distance because you want to do it right now, right away, you have to sit there and pay them. So this could go into hours worked. It could lead to some overtime issues. However, you do not have to pay them for the time for the result. So keep that in mind. You can tell them to go after work or go, to be honest, the safest thing to do is have them go during the day, and you just pay them for it. It's just going to be much easier. Now, what if an employee refuses to get tested or vaccinated? Again, if they don't have to interact with others, they're working remotely, they can say no. Or if they're seeking a reasonable accommodation for a disability or a sincere health belief. But again, personal belief, political belief is not protected. So if an employee says, "I think they're going to take over my body and my mind, I'm not going to do it," guess what? You have grounds for termination. So I wanted to do this quick video so you can be aware of, and hopefully if you have more questions, hit me up. Thanks all.